Weigh anchor and hoist the sail.
Wait. This is not going to be a sailing episode, but I'm still going cruising. Hello and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. As you can tell from the thumbnail description, I am here to admit all of my mistakes, and there are a lot of them. They always say the saying is, you have to be a big man to admit you're wrong. Well, I'm going to be a very big man in this episode because I have no problem admitting when I made a mistake. And yes, I made a mistake buying the Sherman as my very first EUC. There's going to be a lot of people in the comments with the I told you so, because many of those YouTubers who were talking about EUCs and helped me in my decision making, who were selling me on the benefits of this, all said, but don't get this as your first EUC. Don't start with this one. This is something to aspire to get to. Don't start with it. And I'm like, no. I'm a big guy. I can handle a big EUC. I've always done that in the past. Whenever I bought my very first motorcycle, I thought about getting smaller motorcycles, but then I thought, no, this is going to be my new hobby. I had a bunch of friends who had motorcycles. I went, nah, let's get something that you're proud of, that you really want to ride for many years. And I bought a Harley-Davidson V-Rod, which is probably like an 850-pound motorcycle with almost 1,200 cc's. I mean, I went big. I remember, actually, funny story, I went to the motorcycle training course that helps you bring your insurance down. And I showed up there, and of course they train you on these little 125cc, like putt-putt little motorcycles, just so you can train on their loaner motorcycles. And the instructor goes, oh, does some of you already have motorcycles and you're just taking this course for the insurance? And then a bunch of us put up our hand. And he goes, oh, goes around, what do you have? What do you have? And he got to me and I go, yeah, I've got a Harley-Davidson V-Rod. And this was back in 2002 when the V-Rod was brand new. And I spent a stupid amount of money, $29,000 Canadian, on a slightly used V-Rod. So this instructor, just about, his jaw dropped. He's like, you bought a V-Rod as your very first motorcycle? And I'm like, yeah, it's the motorcycle I really wanted. And he's like, all right. And it worked out fine. Mostly because, unlike an EUC, a motorcycle has the same physics as a bicycle. So if you know how to ride a bicycle, not that big of a stretch to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I mean, you know the whole, like, how to keep it upright and how to turn right and turn left. And you just have to learn how to use the gears and accelerate at the right rates for each gear. And yeah, you're pretty much ready to go. Didn't really take me that long to learn it. Thought the same thing would happen here. Same thing with my sailboat. I sail on other people's boats. I helped race other people's boats. And I decided I want to get a sailboat. Did I start at a 25-footer? Did I start at a 30-footer? No. I went right up to almost the maximum size that my local marina would accept at 35 feet. And I remember meeting new people when I got to the club there. Oh yeah, I'm the new guy in town. This is my new boat. And they're like, oh yeah, what did you have before this? No, this is my first boat. You bought a 35-foot sailboat as your very first boat? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay. So I just tell you the backstory just so you know, why did I think I could get away with buying such a heavy EUC? And it was because I've always done that. I research, I decide what I really want, and I go for it. I don't start small, then get middle size, then get slightly larger, then get large. I always went to the top. So why didn't this work out? Well, just like all those YouTubers said, don't start with this one as your first EUC. It's because this is not like anything else you've ever tried to ride in your life. I mean, we've all ridden bicycles, so if I'd bought a scooter with 2 wheels and handlebars, I'm sure, boom, 30 minutes in, I would have been excellent at it. I would have been, zipping all over the place, riding on trails. I've never ridden a one-wheel unicycle before. There's a lot of physics that your brain just doesn't quite comprehend. When you push down on the right pedal, so I'm right foot dominant. So as you're gonna see, I'm gonna show you some footage of me training and how you can see some of the frustration in my face. But when you push down on the right pedal, this thing wants to fall over to the right. So what you have to do is fight this thing with your inner leg and using muscles you don't normally use, like your inner groin muscles and other muscles that you just didn't even know you had. You've got to fight this thing to lean left while you're trying to step on to the right pedal. And it puts a lot of pressure on your inner calf, your inner knee, your joints get a lot of strain. And my left hip started to hurt. I do have kind of hip issues. I'm sort of built like a G.I. Joe doll, where my legs will go forward and backwards, no problem at all. So I can walk, I can run, I can, whatever, I could sprint probably if I didn't pull something. But my legs don't like to go out. My hips have, over the years, gained a little extra bone calcium in there. Something's rubbing wrong. And I already knew this. I can't do splits. I can't go far apart. riding an EUC kind of forces you to do that because you got your one leg on the ground, my left leg in this case is my plant leg, and my right leg's on the EUC. If I had a nice small EUC, you can manhandle that. If it's like a 25, 30 pound EUC, you can kind of like, when you're getting on and off, you can kind of force it to where you want it to go with a little bit of inner groin muscles and other muscles you got to use because it's fairly light considering I'm over 200 pounds. A 30 pound EUC would have been fine. I probably would have learned much, much quicker. This is 77 pounds. Yeah. So with the little muscles you're not used to using, trying to fight it to make it not fall over, not go left, not go right with one leg while you got your other leg on the ground and it's forcing you to do the splits, which hurts my hips. Yeah, just way harder than I thought it would. And before you know it, I had all sorts of aches and joints that I didn't even understand why I had aches in them. Well, some of them I understood. My left hip, I understood. My right knee, because this thing's always pushing to the right, was also probably explainable. And the other mistake I made, going through all the mistakes, when you get a Sherman, you get these power pads built in. And I don't know if you can make it out, but there's little grooves built into, there you go, built into the rubber. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but take my word for it. There's little grooves built into the metal on the outside of the Sherman. So logic would dictate this little seam has to match up with this little seam. So I stuck it right where it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, I'm not bow-legged. So it's a good thing not to be bow-legged, I guess. But the problem is this thing forces your leg to go even further out, and the pedals on the Sherman are quite narrow. So just picture this. So you got a pad. So your leg is already getting pushed by the Sherman, and your leg's going over a pad to try and come back into a pedal. So the whole time it's pushing on your upper calf just below your knee out constantly. So after a while, that lateral torsion on your knee, you start to go, gee, my knee's starting to hurt doing this. And it's winter. And let's face it, when it's cold, you're tense. You're not as flexible as you would be if it was summer and it's 80 degrees outside. Everything just seems to be more limber in the summertime. In the winter, you're like a stick man. So when you try and move your body in directions it doesn't want to go in the winter, it just starts to hurt. So long and short, I had to take a break. I got up to the point, and you'll see in the footage, I got to the point where I could kind of ride it. I could turn, I could do some slow motion movements. I never got to the point where I thought, yeah, I could boot down the road at 40 kilometers an hour, and then if somebody pulled out of their driveway last minute, I could power stop. No. I never got to that level. Only because I eventually just said, I got to take a break from this. My hip is killing, my knee is killing. And I said, yeah, it's Christmas time. Our son's here with his girlfriend. We're going to enjoy that. And that's probably why you haven't seen a video from me in a while. We felt like this was a time to decompress. 2020 was a terrible year for everybody. They were in town from Toronto, staying with us for 3 weeks. And every night just turned into social fun. Every night was, let's get pizza, let's get sushi, let's have a beer, let's have rum and cokes and party, even though I still had to work. But nonetheless, they're here on kind of like a vacation, so we took advantage of it. So I just didn't feel like making videos. So that's why it's taken a while. But during all this socializing, I let my body rest and I'm ready to get back on it. So I'm not gonna let this beat me. I'm not admitting defeat. I'm admitting I made a mistake in the sense that this is not designed to be a starter EUC. I also made a mistake because I talked about how this is going to be an EUC that I'm going to use on my boat. This is 77 pounds, which you would have a very hard time lifting with one hand. So if I'm at the dock, no problem. If I'm at the dock, I can stand on my boat or stand on the dock and lift this over the lifelines and put it down on the dock, no problem at all. I'm a big enough guy to handle 77 pounds. Harder to imagine is if I'm at an anchorage and my dinghy is floating behind my boat and I want to go to shore with this and go explore. Well, the dinghy is much lower than my swim platform, so I have to then hold onto a bar with one hand so I don't fall in the water, lift this with one hand, and try and gently lower it down to either my wife or just drop it into the dinghy by leaning way down into the dinghy to do it with one hand. So, yeah, too big for that. I mean, I could possibly lift this with one hand, but it wouldn't be fun. My wife probably doesn't want to catch this in the dinghy because it's 77 pounds and this is a lot of weight for her. But yeah, so another reason. So this is going to probably end up being a road trip EUC once I get good at it, which means I'll put it in the trunk of my car, I'll drive to some picturesque place, and I'll go for a ride. I probably will also use it on the boat if I know I'm going to be at my marina or we're going to somebody else's city and we're planning to get a slip in a marina, no problem. But if we're doing that Lake Ontario circuit where we're anchoring out a lot and going to shore in a dinghy, I don't know if I'm going to use this. It's just too big. So what will Janice get? If I bring this and I decided, well, I'm just going to fight through the fact it's extra big, I will definitely not make her go through this. I will get her a very light commuter scooter. Foldable, probably weighs way less than this anyway. Doesn't have the range, doesn't have the speed. But now that I've felt how riding this feels, I think I'm going to be a very conservative rider anyway. So I'm probably not going to be going very fast because I just won't feel safe. So her having a slower scooter that's way easier to ride, she won't need to wear all the safety gear. She'll probably just have like a bike helmet on. Perfect for her. In fact, might even be what I'll have to move to for the boat. And this will either get sold, or if I keep it, it'll be a road trip EUC. Maybe if I network with other EUC riders, it'll be like, hey, drive down, when COVID's over, drive down to my city and we'll go explore. I got some great places to show you and I'll bring my cameras and all that stuff and we'll film it. Road trip EUC. So there you go. Learn from me. I'm going to show you some footage, probably just to show you some of the mistakes I made in the training. But you'll enjoy some of it, I think. First place that you'll see me go to is a gravel baseball diamond. I tried to find somewhere, because you're supposed to start by holding on to something while you get on and get off and get on and get off and get your muscles used to getting on and off while you hold on to something. I couldn't find anywhere that had a cement or smooth surface beside a handrail other than like an overpass over a highway or something, and I didn't want to do it in a big public venue like that. So I thought, well, I'll find a baseball diamond because they have the chain link fences. Problem is they're not cemented baseball diamonds, they're that crushed stone, which creates a lot of resistance. So getting on and then trying to do the back and forth, training your muscles and how to make it do the back and forth, motion, very hard on a soft kind of gravelly surface. Mistake one. Eventually I got smarter and I found an above ground parking garage at my wife's work actually. And on the weekends it doesn't get used, so it's empty. And that's the footage you're gonna see second, where I spent many hours, and you'll even see me wipe out once, attempting to get better at it. And it took, I think, 2 days for me to get to the final stage you're gonna see where I'm actually sort of riding it. And that was the last day I rode it because of my sore knee and sore hip. And that's where I left it. And then we had fun and Christmas came. And we had family, and it got freaking cold outside. And I just kind of went, yeah, I'll wait for a warmer day to go out and do some more practicing. But I'm ready to get back on it. I'm all better. I'm not achy anymore. So yeah, will not give up. Anyway, so I'll show you that footage now of me learning how to ride, and you're gonna see me wipe out. So enjoy that. And yeah, I'll talk to you when you're done watching that. Okay, don't be an idiot like me. Don't buy the biggest, baddest Mama Jama EUC as your very first EUC. Dumb. Very, very dumb. Long and short, it's so heavy, and I don't have the muscle memory to catch it when it starts to go, or even notice when it's starting to go until it's too late. And then I can't stop it because it's 77 pounds and my inner groin muscles or whatever aren't strong enough to, like, with one leg on the ground and one leg on the EUC, fight it to a stop. So you end up dropping your EUC a lot. I've only fallen down, I've done 3 days now. Probably all told I'm at maybe 6 hours of practicing. And it's getting there. But I certainly think if I'd picked a EUC that's like half this size and half this weight, it would have been so much easier. So all you YouTubers out there that said the Sherman is a great EUC, but it's probably not one you want to start with, you are 100% right. Don't do what I did. I have so many bruises and welts on the inside of my legs from this EUC slamming against it. I look like I've been playing hockey and people have been just non-stop slashing me in the legs. So it's been a painful lesson. Anyways, it's Sunday. I'm gonna go watch some NFL football. So I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go home. Talk to you guys later. So there you go. There's the footage of the actual day that I did my last ride. You can see it in my face. I was exhausted. I clearly knew I had made a mistake, and I'm admitting it today. But yeah, I will win eventually. I will battle that EUC until I'm good at it. But yeah, I have so many bruises, or I had so many bad bruises on my shin from those pedals slamming into my shin, my left shin, every time I tried to step down and the thing kind of got away on me. So it was a painful exercise to learn, or a lesson to learn. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Oh, and also at the end of that, I mentioned NFL. I am a huge NFL football fan. You're probably watching this on Super Wildcard weekend with 3 games on Saturday and 3 games on Sunday. I think since I got the camera set up and the lights set up and everything, I think I'm going to do a little prognostication, little projections of who's going to win the weekend. There'll be an episode coming out right after this one. And don't worry, if you're a patron, I'm not going to count that as a video. This is just a fun exercise. You know, in the past when I watched NFL, I'd often go to somebody's house, especially during the playoffs, and watch it with a group of guys. But because of COVID, we're all sitting at home watching it by ourselves. So maybe you guys are all community and family, and I get to know a lot of you through the comments and through emails you've given me. So yeah, let's have a little fun with this. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. You let me know what you think is going to happen, and that'll be in the next episode. So until next time, this is the idiot Craig who does stupid things sometimes, signing off, wishing you safe cruising.